Hey, you ever wake up and think to yourself, oh boy, I need to go on a nostalgia trip to help my unhealthy fixation on the past? Yeah, haven't we all? The big question is how, not why. I think we all have childhood memories, and the games we've played, things we've watched, or in my case, the sites we've visited. Newgrounds was a treasure trove of content, although I don't think 10-year-old me should have been on it, but hey, that's what unrestricted access to the internet does to someone. Castle Crashers is pretty much a massive love project made by some of the Newgrounds community's best at the time, all the way back in 2008. I usually tend to make these long and boring introductions to videos, but hey, let's just cut to the chase with. You play as one of these 4 knights, each representing some kind of element: fire, poison, ice, and lightning. You're having the time of your life at the king's party when all of a sudden, this wacky wizard stole our gem thingy. Okay, get it back pretty please. This leads our 4 brave heroes across various lands in search for the gem. Oh, and also these 4 princesses that need to be saved as well. You got them all. Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. Castle Crashers is a very simple side-scroller beat-em-up. You see a man, kill a man. Man gone. So what are our options for fighting? Well, we have several options, and by several options I mean 3. First up is brute force, using the melee combat with the sword you were provided. You can do either a light attack or a heavy attack depending on the situation, with light attacks being faster and heavy attacks doing more damage. Up next is magic. Remember that statement I made about elements like a minute ago? So each knight has access to their own special magic. The magic they can cast can be a long ground attack, a projectile, or even a super jump. Finally, there is equipment, where you can use things such as bows, bombs, and other things. I don't really recommend doing this, especially on first playthroughs. There's not much else to this game, an extremely straightforward story and gameplay. So that means now we can dive headfirst into the oncoming traffic that is this game. Okay, I just talked about this. Party, dude loses the stairs, chase a wizard man. Apparently while this entire party was going on, a mass barbarian invasion was going on, and I seriously mean mass. I have zero clue what they're fighting for over there, considering that the main palace is right here. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, this is your first boss of the game. It mainly attacks by using its own mounted cannon, and ramming the player, and it blew up already. We can finally bring the attack to them and starting to fight in their own encampments. And then, you accidentally stumble into the arena, and oh, hey. Oh, hey! This is a certified hefty boy and has massive AoE attacks, which means you have to pace out your attacks unless you want to risk getting sent across the arena. The fight isn't all that bad, but the princesses are moved while you were here, except for one, so hey, at least we got one of the gals saved. The Force are up next, and well, this wasn't on the agenda for today. Some big buff dude keeps grabbing me and throwing me off the ride though. Well, if there's one thing I have learned in life, it is definitely not a lesson. So let's hop back on there and, damn it, we can finally enter the forest, but first, bird up! This is the first pet of the game. Pets give small additional buffs to help you during your journey. I like this guy. We have a lot in common, as we both like food and that's it. The forest is weird. Not only are there asshole bandits, literally, but the animals here are addicted to laxatives, and there's also whatever this is. This all leads to a barn and okay, so now we're running onto deer to escape, quite possibly inside the longest barn ever. After some cliff diving, we find ourselves in a river. I'm pretty slow in this water, so I need to use a makeshift raft, and ow. I need to use a makeshift raft, and ow. I need to use a makeshift raft to get out of the area. Anyways, the boss is a catfish, you get it? He's a cat and a fish. After washing up on the shore with the king and some other knights, we storm a tribe of bear people. Oh, sorry, I misread that. We storm through a tribe of bear people and chase after the princess. One being given to a magic blue man and the other being given to a cyclops of some type. Well, I didn't invest in the magic at all, so I guess we're running on foot after the cyclops. This cave is spooky. Slimes and bats are everywhere, and at the end is a giant bat ready to guard the treasure room. On the other side of the cave is a beautiful flower field with deadly bees and some beekeepers ready to beat us to death. Anyways, we didn't really plan out this siege really well, considering I was never told there was a siege to begin with. So they're just getting me right into the action with this catapult. I'm not really going in alone, however. I got some fellow knights assisting me with the rooftop siege, breaking into the church, and oh, I forgot to bring a suit. A wedding is currently happening, and I wanted to congratulate the bride and groom, but it turns out it's a shotgun wedding, but instead of a shotgun, it's a multi-cannon organ-piano hybrid. This is one of the few bosses I actually enjoy fighting, as every once in a while you have to go into defense rather than just pure offense. Fight's over, and brother was missing out on his friend's most important day of his life. His death. Well, Cyclops isn't a good sport and ran off with the princess, so we had to chase after him. This isn't really what I had in mind, but we're here anyways. This part is extremely simple and just requires fighting off some enemy knights and bandits. Oh goody, we were going back into the forest. Why did we leave again? Alright, that thing. Well, I've never learned my lesson, so time to jump off this and start bashing him in the face mid-air. That worked 30 times better than I expected it to. After bashing our skulls into a rocky tunnel overhead, we should be dying on the floor considering how fast we were going, but your character, as the cool kids would say, is built different. I'm gonna pretend to skip this area because I died like 4 times here and in a blind rage don't remember anything. I love being petty. We're downgrading our crimes right now by doing a standard home invasion and fighting a regular old boss at the end, and oh, it's that guy again. Well, he decided to play fair at the playground today and was roasted alive for his crimes against humanity. I mean, come on guys, did you see his fashion sense? It's not the Roman times anymore, buddy. Anyways, we're getting women like a checklist now, so let's just continue onwards. But first, a word from our totally legit sponsor. Hi kids, have you ever wanted to be like this man? Me too, kiddo, but a thing called life got in my way. But your dreams can still come true thanks to our patented sandwich. With only the finest ingredients, the sandwich can give you access to the strength that you've never seen before. We put love, effort, and copious amounts of steroids into every one we make. So come on down and try a sandwich today. We keep moving through Volcano Town and find the wizard guy and some necromancer knight. Yeah, cool story and all, let's continue on to— oh sh**, is that a sock? After mustling up the courage to defeat my greatest foe yet, I got this. Huh? Well, let's go back down the map and find some things. Turns out this guy needs some parts for his ship. Well, that's 1 for him, but he needs 2 more. This nice blacksmith has another one that he'll give for free. Oh right, I forgot to mention that all weapons and pets that you pick up will go here, so you can easily swap them out. The last place we need to go to is this factory right here with this prince. He reminds me of French people, which triggers my inner fight or flight response, and I suck at running. After storming the factory, we get hit with traps, saw-blade enemies, and the absolute beefcake that is this guy. The prince decides to engage in blatant copyright infringement, as this is clearly the work of Dr. Eggman. After informing him of the legal actions that will be done, he flees in terror just to be betrayed by the wizard. So like natural knights intended to keep order and peace, we push him off the factory so he falls to his death. Well, I guess I know where we're going next. The boat ride was okay, with just some ninjas, but besides that it was fine. And now we are in a desert. The first thing that will welcome us to this beautiful land is none other than a shovel. You can use shovels to dig into the earth and gain rewards. That's boring, but you know what isn't boring? Aliens. So I got abducted and launched a one-man prison break until this guy decided to help a bit faster. After the ship blows up, I get to befriend a camel. This was the beginning of a beautiful friendship as we traverse the desert together in search of a kingdom. I find one and they aren't happy with me because I did something known as murder. After a game of volleyball, I was forgiven and got this map. Onwards to some marsh area and we are blocked by a wall and a weird symbol. Fine by me, as we meet some nice farmers that'll give me a tour of their recently invaded town. They go on ahead and make me fight a bunch of enemies and die slightly off screen. Man, why does this keep happening to me? Anyways, here's the corn boss fight. If you unironically lose to this guy, I'm not judging, but there clearly was a reason that you were bullied in elementary. After being given the horn, we can make our way through these ruins and fight fishmen, all the way to this snake lady. Don't say it. After beating the snake, we can continue onward through this trash land that I don't understand. Enemies were fine, I guess, nothing really memorable except for our boy! We reach the Snowy Kingdom, home to the magic dude we saw earlier, and his soldiers are here to defend his land. With snowballs. Wow, look at that, I'm in the palace right after a very tough fight with your snowball chucking soldiers. Wow. After making our way through the layers, we finally come face to face with— hey, where'd he go? Stop throwing crap everywhere. What's with the icicles? Fight fair. I said stop! Oh, 3 out of 4 now, which just leaves the wizard. Well, we made it to the wizard, but first we need to go through these 3 bosses first. The first is— hold on. Who's this guy? Second leads the Cyclops and his friend. Even in death, these two mean business, with very strong attacks in certain parts where you need to be on the defense. But then they leave themselves pretty open during the offensive stages, so that just leaves the Necromancer Knight. Pretty cool dude fight starts with a mob pit having to beat a bunch of enemies into the dirt. After that, he swoops down and begins to fight you for real. Dude loves spamming his shield. I spent years studying this man and his attacks, and after blood, sweat, and tears, I finally came up with a solution. Yeah, I just stood there and spammed heavy attacks, hoping for the best. That just leaves the final boss now, the wizard, and honestly, he's the most complex and best boss in the game. The first phase involves the crystal he stole at the beginning of the game. Small chunks start homing in on you, and you need to break these chunks after the wizard man comes down with a special shield where you need to use magic attacks against him when it's blue, but only physical attacks when it's red. After putting the slightest amount of thought power into this fight, the wizard gains flight Mario 64 DS style, and you need to knock him out of the sky. Simple enough, and he dies, except haha, you didn't look at the time remaining on the video, did you? We still have a few minutes, buddy boy. This phase looks scary, but if you do the same thing in the ball phase, you usually just spams low damage attacks, so yeah, dude pops like a balloon into, well, another balloon. Hold on, give me a second. Wizard boy is desperate and pulls out a dragon sword to summon meteors, but to summon them he needs to jump up and hold still. Bro, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If I fool you 4 times with the same trick, why are you even trying anymore? Ground shatters, land on a crystal, oh yeah, I forgot you were here, and I ride off into the metaphorical sunset. Castle Crashers is a classic game. Sure, it's not long and be completed in less than 3 hours, but for a game released in 2008, it has stood the test of time for 15 years now, and is still a fantastic co-op game to play with friends for a simple laugh. Yeah, the game is full of potty humor and childish gags, but come on, it's Newgrounds we're talking about here. These people always want to put entertainment forwards. Newgrounds was pretty much YouTube before YouTube, so it's important to remember where these people came from. They were essentially the same as modern day content creators, and it's very impressive how this game turned out. And this wasn't the last we saw of this development studio, as they would go on to make another goated game, BattleBlock Theater. So what did we learn today? Nostalgia is an easy way to bring positivity in your life. We can have an unhealthy fixation on the past, wanting everything to be like the good old days, and I can exploit all of that for YouTube content. So in the end, I think we're all winners. Well, unless you fell down some stairs, then you're a loser.